the Beretta PX4 Storm. Let's check it out. The Beretta PX4 Storm is just one of those guns that's overlooked, in my opinion. Beretta is a very popular selling firearm company. People love Berettas, and every Beretta video I put up, it gets a lot of views. But the PX4 Storm, to me, just doesn't get the attention that it deserves. Now, a lot of it has to do with its looks. It's just an unusual looking firearm. And a few years ago, a buddy of mine had one, the subcompact model, and he wanted me to do a review on it. And I was not really that excited about it until I took it to the range. Now, one of the things about the subcompact is it's almost like a sawed-off version of this. It's thick, but it's just odd looking to me. And so I was not really excited. I took it down to the range and I got excited. And a lot of that has to do with the rotating barrel design. I'm gonna pull this back, just let you see how that barrel kind of rotates inside. This makes a huge difference at the range. It reduces muzzle rise, it reduces the recoil, and it is a joy to shoot. It's really cool because a lot of people lately have been asking for a review of the PX4 Storm. And I just happened to get a newsletter from AIM Surplus announcing they had some of these police trade-ins on sale. And so I got in touch with those guys and I said, I want to buy one, will you hold one for me? Because I know the guys at AIM Surplus. And Brian said, no, we'll send you one. And so I was really excited to get this. I hadn't had it but a day or so and they were already out of stock. These are excellent and hopefully they'll be getting more in stock. So I want to thank AIM Surplus for sending this, and guys, keep your eye out, you might be able to find one. And these are still being produced by Beretta. So if you want to check out the PX4 Storm, they are still available. Now, the Beretta PX4 Storm was designed in 2004 and really to be an upgraded version of the 92F. I mean, companies all the time are trying to upgrade and make more modern pistols using a lot of different technology. One of the big things about the PX4 is its rotating barrel design. Now, let's go ahead and drop our magazine. It is a 17+1 magazine. Let me check to make sure the gun is empty. Now you can watch that barrel rotate. I mean, it actually just moves as the barrel comes back. This actually dissipates recoil and it makes it even softer to shoot, reduces muzzle jump, and it's a very strong action. There's a number of pistols that have been going to this because it is such a strong action. This was actually based on the original Beretta 8000 or Cougar, and it was a little bit of a different type design. Really made as a concealed carry piece for the Beretta 92. These are NATO certified, and there have been reports of these firing up to 150,000 rounds with 0 breakages. So it is a very strong action. A lot of different militaries in different parts of the world and police units still use this. Now this is still under production, so it's been around for about 16 years. Now since we have the hammerback, I want to show you the way the decocker works. You bring it down, and then it pops right back up. This is the G model safety. I really love that. It's one of the things about the Beretta 92 that I don't typically like unless it has the G type safety, is that when you pull it down, it stays in the safe position. And you got to remember to pull that safety off. So for comparison, I wanted to bring out the pinnacle of the Beretta 92, and this is the M9A3. In fact, this one went into trials against the SIG P320, but it never really officially entered. But as you know, Beretta has been the U.S. service pistol since 1985 and just again recently replaced by the P320. But you can see some major differences between these two pistols. Now, they're both double single action. Now, being a double single action pistol means that when you pull the trigger, it actuates the hammer, and you can see the hammer coming back. So you fire that first shot, it's a long trigger pull, and then subsequent shots, the hammer will be in the rear position for single action. Bring it out, and then you can fire it. And we'll look at the trigger pull action in just a second. But one of the big departures from the 92 or the M9 is that we have a polymer frame. And so this is going to make the weight very light, and it's just getting more into the modern type design. What's really funny is they still utilize the Beretta 92 trigger system, but they did round off the trigger guard, which you see here, it's squared off. Another big improvement is the PX4 Storm has an integral accessory rail, so it really rides really close to the frame. Even on this M9, it does stick out down here, and it can get in the way. And guys, one of the reasons why I think that the PX4 Storm has not been as received as well, being a new design, is because the 92 has been just hugely popular. And then once, of course, the U.S. military adopted this, its popularity has continued. And honestly, still continues today. All right, the weight on the PX4 Storm, 27.8 ounces. The Beretta M9A3, 34.8 ounces. This is a full-size PX4, and it does have a 4-inch barrel. It does hold 17+1. You do have interchangeable back straps that you can change these out from small, medium, or large. So it fits a number of different hands. And one of the other additional things about the PX4 Storm is it has fewer parts, and that means less breakage. It's got the ambidextrous safety on either side. The sights are 3-dot. Now these are pretty worn, and again, this is a police trade-in from AIM Surplus. And you're going to see a little bit of finish wear on here, which is typical. But again, guys, these are current production pistols, and the price, though, is really right on these. But they also offer a number of other different police-type trade-ins. Now the polymer is fairly smooth all the way through the sides, but here at the back, you have more aggressive texturing, and here at the front. And guys, to be honest with you, this is the place where you really grip the handgun, not on the sides. So when you're taking it and you're shooting it, honestly, I did not feel that it was really slick. But if you're going to be using this, you know, for a home defense pistol or even more, you really want to have something good to grab hold of. But I think that really this is very adequate, and of course you can do some stippling or get some Talon grips for it if you want. I do like this little memory notch right here on either side, and that's also the takedown lever, which we'll look at when we break the pistol down. Now the slide stop does extend out just a little bit, almost like a gas pedal, which I really kind of like. I mean, you can hit that thing really easily and drop that slide. It does have rear and front cocking serrations, and you'll notice how it bevels down into a point. I mean, it almost comes down just like right on either side. It's definitely a different looking handgun. It does have a commander style hammer that you can grab. It's pretty abbreviated, but you can still grab it if you need to. The round is centered right behind the breech face. It allows it to go in really straight. So you have kind of an abbreviated feed ramp, but these are fully supported. Now we're going to check trigger pull action. And one of the things about having different size back straps is it allows you to get that pad and bring it straight back. And that's really an important thing about setting the right back strap to your finger. And so when you have it here, you're able to bring it straight back. Now there's a little bit of play right here, and then it starts to, you feel the tension. But it's a very smooth pull. Reset is right here. And then you have some take up and then a snap. When it comes to single action, we have a little bit of take up here and then a nice break. I wouldn't say that is super crisp, but it's definitely a decent break. There we go. There's your reset. Now we're going to check the trigger pull weight with our Lyman trigger gauge from Brownells. Double action is typically heavy. This is your safety. 7 pounds, 15 ounces. 7 pounds, 3.3 ounces. Single action, 4 pounds, 3.6 ounces. 3 pounds, 12.3 ounces. Now I wanted to bring out one of the Grand Power pistols. This is actually their striker fire model. I do have one of the K100s. This is the Q100. But the big thing is to look at the way this barrel rotates. Now it's a different system. but it is a rotating barrel. From what I've heard, Glock has now designed a rotating barrel Glock. I believe it's only available in Europe at this time, but it's definitely the wave of the future in a lot of ways because it does mitigate recoil and it does keep your muzzle rise down. And it's just a really smooth shooting gun. We're just going to load up a mix and match of some 9mm full metal jacket, and we're using the G-Code bang box. These things are great. You can kind of label your box. I've had these things for a long time. I love them. This Lula loader really works great, and I appreciate Lula Loader for sending these loaders. Man, I'll tell you, saving my thumbs because you just can't quit shooting this gun. Guys, we had 2 range days with the PX4 Storm, and guys, it was just super reliable. And we used a bunch of different type ammunitions. It just ran. No malfunctions, slide held back. But one of the big things about this handgun, and I think it's almost a secret, is the rotating barrel design in here. It definitely makes your shooting experience totally different than anything else, except maybe a Grand Power, which they also have the rotating barrel, and there's some others. In fact, I think Glock's even been working on one. But the way the camming action works in here, it does reduce muzzle flip and it does reduce the recoil. It's a very pleasurable gun to take to the range and to shoot. It is double single action, so a lot of people, you know, they're getting so used to striker fire now and that really short reset. And so with this, you're going to have a little more reset, but it's a very smooth trigger like we've shown. It's just a smooth operating handgun, and it has the Beretta quality, and so that's definitely a huge plus. It's almost like a modern 92F. It's a very slick action. And so guys, the controls are nice on here. Of course, as we've looked at, they're a little bit extended, but this pistol is a full-size pistol. Now you can get the carry models, you can get the subcompact. They make a Enox model, which is stainless steel, and a number of different ones. So you can go to the Beretta website and check it out. But guys, if you're looking for something that you really want to shoot that's just flat shooting, it's a real pleasure to shoot at the range. It's going to be hard to beat the Beretta PX4 Storm. And one of the things that I did notice when you're pulling back on the slide, you tend to grab the safeties or the decockers, and it's on both sides. They protrude a little bit. It actually gives you a little extra leverage. And so when you're pulling that back, now you can train yourself to pull back on the serrations. And so that is definitely a big help. And then you have your front serrations here if you just want to do press checks. But I think this actually aids. Now it does stick out just a little bit, so when you first grab it, it's not sharp, but it's definitely a little pointed. But you can bring that slide back really easily. I really like the extended slide release. I mean, it's made to that perfect way. Now it's, again, it does add a little bit of width to the firearm. But man, that little lever, it's almost like a gas pedal. You can just boom, and you're ready to go. So the controls on here are actually pretty good. And what I do like is with the standard Beretta 92s and 92F and M9, when you decock the pistol, you know, it doesn't bring the safety back up to fire. And so for me, that's always been a point of contention with the Beretta, because I always forget to bring back that safety and get it back engaged. But as far as accuracy, this thing is super accurate. Now for disassembly, we're going to drop our magazine. It's actually fairly simple. Check to see the gun is unloaded. Right here are your takedown levers. They're on either side like your Glock. Just pull them both down at the same time and then just push your slide forward. No pulling of the trigger, no pulling the slide back. We're going to take our transfer block out and our recoil spring. You'll notice that the recoil spring goes into the transfer block, so it's captured both at the front and here at the rear. It is a polymer guide rod and it is captive. Barrel assembly, you can just push it out and here it comes. And so this is your rotating barrel. You can see the cuts here that allow it to rotate inside the frame. Right here with your transfer block, it just fits in that groove and it just moves. And so this definitely helps with felt recoil. It helps with muzzle rise. This is a short recoil system, and guys, it is just soft shooting. We have our locking block, which is right here. It's pretty hefty. And then we have, of course, our rails at the back. But you can see with the polymer. It's a little different than a lot of your double single action pistols, but definitely well made and up to Beretta quality. Right here you'll notice your firing pin safety, and you know, it's just a really clean design. And guys, that's all you need to do to fill the strip. We're gonna go ahead and put our barrel back in. Beretta says there's only one way that it will go back in, and so we're gonna see if we can make it go back in. One thing I will say about the Grand Power, it is a little more difficult to reassemble and to disassemble. Take our guide rod, put it into our transfer block, bring it back and rest it on the lip. Now you will notice that this has a tendency to kind of pop out, and sometimes it makes it a little more difficult. Now it's into place. Bring it over our slide, and you're done. I mean, that is a very easy disassemble, especially for a double single action pistol. Now, as far as price goes, market price for a brand new handgun typically runs around the $500, $525 range. You could probably get it a little less. You might be able to get it for a little more. On the AIM Surplus website, these were running $339, which is a great price. I believe they only come with one magazine, but it does come with the original box and the back straps. And I did get an additional magazine, so there may be two included, but this one had a little bit of red paint on the bottom, but doesn't hurt anything. Guys, I highly recommend taking a PX4 out to the range and shooting it. It is a joy to shoot. I'm telling you, it's just a different experience. And with the rotating barrel design, it just makes it really smooth. Again, Grand Power, they have an excellent line of rotating barrels in their Grand Power series. But the Beretta, I mean, this is a sweet shooting gun. And again, it is Beretta quality. And definitely a big shout out to AIM Surplus for sending this for the test and evaluation. As a police trade-in, it's a great price. But again, these are still being produced by Beretta. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. Because this is freaking incredible. Right there in the and this actually incorporates some of the Beretta PX4 taking the world by storm.